Thursday.
Just a minute, I'll come down. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. It was the shock of seeing you, Mr. Hunter. Was it about Mr. Dunridge? Is he worse?
Fading fast, Mrs. Thursday. Fading fast, I'm afraid.
Can't believe it. A man like that, so full of life.
Ah, yes, indeed. But in the midst of life, as they say. He wishes to see you, Mrs. Thursday.
Me? You're joking. What should he want to see me for?
He asked. He insisted that you should be brought to him at once.
Well, if you say so. I'm hardly in a fit state. I'll have to change.
Well, I'll wait in the car. And please hurry, Mrs. Thursday. We've little time.
Right. Wait, I nearly forgot.
Just a moment, Bates.
How'd you open this blessed thing?
Allow me.
You think a posh car like this would have proper handles on the windows? Mrs. Evans, Millie! Do me a favour, love, will you? Pay the insurance for me when he comes round, will you?
Of course I will.
Don't like to miss him. Here, it's 2 and 9pence.
You're doing all right for yourself, ain't you? Having a light out, eh?
Oh, and if the coal man comes round, ask him to leave me 100-weight, will you? And ask him to put it in the shed, not all over the yard.
Do you think we might...
Sorry. Bye, Millie.
Bye, Liz. Watch him. You want to watch him? I've seen his type before. Give 'em an inch, they'll take a yard.
All right, Bates.
She's ever so nice, really.
I'll take your word for it.
Sir Walter.
He's very much weaker, Mr. Landis.
There's nothing more that we
Nothing.
could,
Do you hold out any...
Mr. Dunridge is a remarkable man. He has great willpower. With anyone else, I should be most doubtful, but in his case, well, anything is possible.
Sir Charles Barker and Mr. Joseph Lever are very anxious to see him.
Absolutely out of the question.
They are joint vice chairman of the board. There are some vital business matters.
They'll have to wait. No visitors, is that clear?
The press.
Quite clear, Doctor.
We have prepared the usual bulletin.
You know the cause of it, don't you?
He had a stroke.
Ah, yes, but what brought that on, eh? All that rich food, all them dinners and banquets, no good for man nor beast, and working all the hours God sends, working himself to death. Shouldn't have said that.
You get on very well with Mr. Dunridge, I believe.
Oh, well, he was always very nice to me. Used to talk to me when I cleaned round his office.
What about?
Oh, he liked to go on about the old days. He started poor, you know, started from nothing, sold papers on the street.
All millionaires start by selling newspapers. It's part of their image.
Ah, but he never forgot it. Know what he asked me once? Asked me to make him a bread pudding.
A bread pudding?
A bread pudding. Said he hadn't had one for donkey's years. You should have seen him tuck into it. 7:30 in the morning, stoking it away he was. Oh, I like to see a man eat. My late husband was a good eater. He had his faults, I admit, but he always cleared his plate.
Excuse me. Hello?
Landis here, is that you, Hunter?
Yes, Landis.
Is Mrs. Thursday with you?
Yes, she is, Mr. Landis. We shall be at the house in a few minutes.
Take her home again, Hunter. The doctors have given strict instructions that Mr. Dunrich is to receive no visitors.
But Mr. Dunrich...
The doctors have overruled him. Take her home, Hunter.
Telephones in motor cars. I don't know what they'll think of next.
We have a problem, Mrs. Thursday. That was Mr. Landis.
Who's he then?
Mr. Dunrich's PA.
PA?
Personal assistant.
I don't know that one.
You can count yourself fortunate. He is, if you'll excuse the term, a bit of a twit.
Fancy.
He instructed me to take you back home. On the other hand, Mr. Dunrich himself gave me his own personal instructions to fetch you.
And now he's changed his mind?
No. No, I don't think he has. What do you think we should do, Mrs. Thursday?
I don't know.
My own personal feeling is we should ignore little Mr. Landis.
Well, if you think it's all right.
Yes. We shall proceed as arranged.
How is he?
Weaker, I'm afraid, Mrs. Dunrich. The doctors have...
I'll go right up.
You'll have to join the queue, darling.
Sheila, what on earth are you doing here?
Same as you, my darling, visiting the sick.
I've come to see my husband.
Your ex-husband.
The divorce hasn't gone through yet.
A mere legal technicality, darling. Oh, let's face it, we're all exes. He's divorced us all.
I am still George's legal wife. And in any case, the whole thing was a tragic misunderstanding. I've always loved him.
Ha! How can you speak about love? You do not know the meaning of it. I am the only one he ever loved. Let's not exaggerate now, darling.
You were only married to him for 3 months.
3 wonderful, beautiful months. You only lasted 6, darling.
And you?
Oh, I hold the world record. A year over 3 days. Well, we're all here at the end. Do not speak like this. How can you be so heartless? Oh, I'm sorry, Nikki dear. I didn't realize you were so sensitive. The fact is we are here. The 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th, Mrs. Dunrich. If Brenda was here, we'd have a full house.
I'm going up.
Now, hold on, darling.
Legally, I am still George's
A mere
wife.
quibble, darling. The divorce will be final next week.
Out of my way.
I was here first.
Ladies, please. Mrs. Dunrich, I feel...
Take your hands off me.
Mrs. Dunrich.
Ah.
Mrs. Dunrich.
Oh, he's right. We shouldn't quarrel. It's foolish. We'll go up to him together.
Ladies, the doctors gave strict
Oh,
orders
shut up. Together, agreed? Okay. Margot?
Very well.
I'm sorry. Mr. Dunrich is sleeping. He is not to be disturbed.
I am Mrs. Dunrich.
I am Mrs. Dunrich.
Je suis Madame Dunrich.
Absolutely disgraceful. In all my professional career, I have never seen anything like it.
I tried to stop them.
I shall telephone the doctor.
There we are, Mrs. Thursday. This is Miss Adams, the housekeeper. This is Mr. Landis. Mrs. Thursday.
Pleased to meet you.
Hunter, what is the meaning of this? I thought I told you...
Ah, yes, indeed you did, Mr. Landis. But I consulted Mrs. Thursday, and we felt we should follow Mr. Dunrich's instructions in the matter. He's most anxious to see Mrs. Thursday.
Visitors are not allowed. The doctors have...
I think that in this case...
We can make no exceptions. I'm sure you understand that, Mrs.
Thursday, Mum.
It was very kind of you to come, but sick men do make extraordinary requests sometimes, don't they? We can't always give in to them, can we?
No. How is he?
Well, there's very little improvement, I fear.
I'm sorry. Well, perhaps you'd tell him I called, like, and give him my very best regards.
Well, I really think you should stay, Mrs. Thursday. Mr. Dunrich was most insistent.
No, we got to go by what the doctors say, haven't we? I'll come back tomorrow.
I thought you said he was weaker.
Get out! Oh, bloody lot of you, get out!
Mr. Dunrich, you shouldn't be out of bed, sir.
Leave me alone. Mrs. Thursday,
Yes, sir, it's me, sir.
you came. Come on up, I want to talk to you.
Sir, I do feel...
Shut up. Come on up, Alice. Here, give me your arm. Get me back to that damn bed.
Who is that? Mickey. Oh, it's all your fault, Mum.
That's better. Any more noise out of you lot, I'll come down and bang your heads together so hard your ears will be ringing for a fortnight.
She's still up there.
She's been up there over an hour now. What on earth can they be talking about?
Old times.
What?
Old times. And bread pudding.
I'm going to find out.
That was a despicable thing to do. So typical of you to listen to keyholes. Did you hear anything?
She's talking about buying a hotel in Park Lane.
6, 7, 8, 9. You're bang on Park Lane. Oh, let me see. I've got an hotel on it. Here, I reckon you owe me thousands.
You're too good for me. Clean me out. Yeah, you better take the lot.
Oh, I like this game.
It's obvious. Alice, in the third drawer of the bureau on the right, you'll find some whiskey.
Oh, I don't think you should.
Go on, don't behave like the other lot. Just one little nip.
Just one little nip, then.
Don't drown it.
Here.
What about you?
All right, I'll have the same. You'll have me singing, you know. I'm not used to this stuff.
Cheers.
Good health. I'll have this and then I'll go home.
No, not yet.
But you've got to sleep.
Time enough for that.
Here, let me straighten you up.
Oh. Sit down, Alice. Alice, are you ever lonely?
Lonely? Haven't got time. I'm at your office every morning at 7 for the cleaning. And then 3 days a week I've got other jobs.
The evenings?
No, I've got plenty of friends. I play bingo Tuesdays, then there's the telly. And I'm always in and out the neighbours. Do a bit of babysitting. Well, does get a bit lonely sometimes. Bound to.
You're damn right it does.
You? With all those people around you?
Not worth a light. Yes, men. Out for what they can get. They haven't got 2 half of the guts between them. Oh, I know it's my own fault. I got rid of the good ones, the ones who stood up to me. I can't delegate authority, you know. That's my weakness. I've always got to do everything myself.
Mr. Hunter seems a nice man.
Hunter? Oh, he's not too bad. He's a villain, though. He'd steal the sugar out of a blind man's tea and then go back for the milk. Oh, but he's not too bad. But the others, well, I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw 2 grand pianos.
Your marriage wasn't no good then.
Marriage is. I had 4. No. Dead loss. My fault again. Always go for the wrong type, I suppose.
Feeling sorry for yourself, aren't you?
You know, the thing that I really enjoyed was making money. It wasn't money, don't let him tell you that. No, it was the power, the manipulation, getting the better of the other fellow. You know, the greatest moment of my life was when I finally learned that I'd got control of English Associated Stores. 500 branches. They were all after it. Claw, Joseph, Mannering. And I beat the lot.
And look where you are now.
No.
Didn't do you much good, did it? All your money, all your, whatchamacallit, your power. Didn't stop you being ill, did it?
All right. Nag me.
You want someone to knock some sense into your wooden head, you do.
Too late for that now.
Well, I only hope you're going to take it a bit easy from now on, sir. I better be going.
Will you come back tomorrow?
Oh, well, if you want me.
Look, on the table there's a bell. Ring it twice.
What for?
If you do what you're told, woman.
2 rings? For me, I believe.
Lady. Okay. You run Mrs. Thursday home.
Yes, sir.
No, I can get the bus.
Run her home. And first thing tomorrow morning, you're to go and get her again.
Very good, sir. How are you feeling this evening, sir?
Lousy.
You're tired. You must rest. Come on now. Settle down.
Thanks for coming, Alice.
Oh, I've enjoyed it. Enjoyed our chat and the game.
You know what I fancy?
Oh, a lot of things, I dare say.
Some peas pudding, faggots, with a couple of saveloys.
When you're better, you can have 'em all. Now, will you go to sleep when you're told?
Yeah. I've done 'em all in the eyes.
Go to sleep. Close your eyes.
Don't suppose I could have a cigar?
No, you cannot. Whatever next.
Another drop of whiskey?
Close your eyes. You're worse than a baby, you are.
Working hands. I never thought it'd be like this, you know. Thought I'd die with my boots on.
You're not going anywhere, except to sleep. So close your eyes.
Well?
He's very tired. Just dropping off to sleep. I wouldn't disturb him. Ready, Mr. Hunter?
Now, look here, Mrs. Whatever your name is. We'd like a word with you.
Haven't you got home to go to, any of you?
Just who do you think you're talking to?
I wouldn't know, Mum, I'm sure. I'll come back tomorrow if that's convenient.
She'll have to see what the doctors say about that, shan't we?
Mr. Dunrich instructed me to collect Mrs. Thursday in the morning.
We now come to various bequests to Mr. Dunrich's private staff. To Miss Adams, my housekeeper, in recognition of her loyal and devoted service, £500. To Mr. Roger Landis, my private secretary, the sum of £500, and my personal copy of the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, in the hope that he may derive some help from it in his future career. To all other members of my household staff, the sum of £100 each, and my grateful thanks for their loyal service and forbearance.
Very generous, so typical.
To Richard Byron Hunter, my friend and valet, the sum of £5,000, which is to be invested and paid to him in full when he reaches the age of 60, or when he marries, whichever is the sooner. I hope in this way to prevent him frittering it away in the next 3 months, and give him some security for later years. In the event that he should marry before the age of 60, I direct that the money should be paid to his wife in her name. Now we move to additional legatees. I have had the good fortune to be married 4 times to 4 beautiful and delicious ladies. I thank them all for bringing so much color into my life, even for short periods, and for adding to my store of experience. I cannot in justice put a pin between them. And so that each may remember our first meeting, I leave to Brenda, Sheila, Nicole and Margot a sum of money sufficient to cover the cost of 1 mink coat and a weekend in Monte Carlo.
What? It's an insult. I've never heard that.
If I may continue,
I can't be serious.
I haven't quite finished. There's another provision which affects you, lady.
Yes, but surely
Listen.
I know that this is the last thing she wants or expects, and I hope she will forgive me and remember me with affection. But I can think of no one who will put it to better use, and I therefore leave the residue of my estate in its entirety to my dear friend, Mrs. Alice Thursday.
She's got the thought!
May I
continue?
Thank you. It is my wish that Mrs. Thursday should make such provision for my present wife, Margot, and for my former wives, Brenda, Sheila, and Nicole, as she in her sole discretion thinks fit and proper, providing they make no attempt to contest the provisions of this my will and testament. Should they do so, this wish is to be ignored, and the legacies mentioned above are to be revoked.
He's tied it up! We're in her house!
Will you shut up? You all right, love?
I don't understand.
Mr. Dunrich has made you his principal legatee.
What?
He's left you all the loot.
Money.
Oh, no!
Have you any idea how much?
Well, at a rough estimate, very rough, mark you, I should think the value of the inheritance would be in the region of £10 million.
Is she still in there?
Yes. What are we going to do?
I don't know about you, but I'm leaving. I must draw the line somewhere.
Miss Adams?
Yes.
I was wondering about tea.
You have a new mistress now. You'd better ask her.
Well, don't look at me.
didn't hear you.
I was wondering about tea, ma'am.
Oh, I would love a cup.
I'll bring some right away. Indian or China?
I don't know. Ordinary tea.
Yes, ma'am. Anything with it? Toast, biscuits?
No, thank you.
You really ought to eat something, ma'am. Really, you should.
I couldn't eat.
Very well, ma'am.
Is Mr. Hunter still here?
I think so, ma'am. Shall I find him for you?
Well, I don't want to put you to no trouble.
Oh, it's no trouble, really.
What's your name?
Edna. Edna Shaw, ma'am.
Shaw? You're no relation to Betty Shaw, I suppose, what lived in Cambrian Road, Kennington?
No, ma'am. I'm from Wembley.
Oh, I just wondered. Didn't mind me asking, did you?
Not at all, ma'am.
You sent for me, Mum.
Oh, you startle me.
Oh, I'm very sorry, Mum.
Don't you start.
I beg your pardon?
Calling me ma'am. Bad enough with the others. Oh, Mr. Hunter, what am I going to do?
Do, Mum? I mean, Mrs. Thursday.
Well, I'm not touching the money. I've made up my mind to that. I'm not touching a penny of it.
Ah, well, that'll only make it worse. Or better, depending which way you look at it.
What do you mean?
Well, if you leave it in the bank, it'll grow. Let me see, at reasonable interest, it'll bring you in, 60 to 70,000 pounds a year. And that's only spending money. You'll still have the capital.
I can't take it in. I just can't take it in. The most money I ever saw in my life was £45.12 and 9p. Bert's insurance money. Oh, I wish he was here. He'd know what to do.
If I may make a suggestion.
Oh, please do.
Sleep on it. Don't rush into anything.
Yes, you're right. I've got a cup of tea coming. I'll have that and then I'll go home.
Well, this is your home.
This? It ain't a home. It's more like a blessed museum. No comfort anywhere. I don't know how he lived here.
Shall I pour, ma'am, or will you?
I can do it. Then you can have a cup of tea, Mr. Hunter.
I hardly think.
Would you want a cuppa, don't you?
Yes, please.
Right. It's only one cup. I'll just fetch another if you tell me where they're kept.
Oh, no, I'll bring it, ma'am.
What? Don't want to put you into no trouble. I'll get to know what everything is myself soon, I expect.
Charles will take over as chairman. Oh, just a few, love. Won't be long. Come on, love.
Good evening, Sir Charles.
Quite an exciting day, Is Mrs. Thursday at home?
Yes. I'll just go and...
Oh, there's no need to stand on ceremony. I'll go straight in.
Sir Charles Barker to see you, ma'am.
My dear Mrs. Thursday, a great pleasure to meet you. And my warmest congratulations. What a sensation. What a sensation. Oh, you've seen the press, of course. They're full of it. Absolutely full of it. And there's 6 deep outside your front door. Congratulations.
Very kind of you.
Good evening, Hunter.
Good evening, Sir Charles. I'll leave you now, Mum.
No, don't go.
I'm sure Sir Charles has private business to discuss with you, Mum.
Quite so.
I'd like Mr. Hunter to stay, if you don't mind. You see, he's my... he's my, whatchamacallit, my...
Business advisor?
That's it, my business advisor.
I bought an extra cup, ma'am, just in case.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Would you like a cup of tea, Mr... Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Mrs. Thursday, I'll come straight to the point, if I may. These past 2 or 3 days, things have been rather at 6s and 7s, business-wise, you understand.
Oh, yes, sugar?
What? No, thank you. It's in everyone's interest, not least your own, to settle once and for all the speculation about the future of our group of companies. Oh, thank you. Cut the chairs, eh? Well, as I was saying...
Excuse me, sorry. Tea leaf. Soon fish it out.
As I understand it, Mrs. Thursday, you are not a businesswoman.
No, far from it. It's a mystery to me.
And I take it you would not want to concern yourself with the day-to-day operations of our group of companies, hmm? And very wise, too. There's no need at all. We do have rather an important board meeting tomorrow morning. We must nominate a new chairman to succeed George, issue a statement to placate the public, and so forth. You do understand?
Oh, yes, I think so.
Well, someone has to do the job, I'm afraid, and as you don't want it, I suppose there's no alternative but myself. Heaven knows I've enough on my plate, but needs must, hmm? I'll take over the chairmanship for the time being anyway, then you won't have to worry.
Well, I don't want to give you more work to do.
No, I'm used to it. Now, all we have to do is to get your signature on this piece of paper. Now, you sign just there.
Begging your pardon, Sir Charles, just exactly what is this?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I should have explained. Mrs. Thursday holds the controlling interest. This just gives me permission to use her votes for her. It's quite simple, quite straightforward.
Don't sign it! Mr. Lever! So that's it. I just got here in time, didn't I?
Mrs. Thursday has already agreed.
She hasn't signed it, has she? Mrs. Thursday, I'm Joe Lever. I'm one of the joint vice chairmen of the Dunrich Group. He's the other. I want to buy 1/4 of your interest in the group. I'll pay what it's worth.
That would give you control.
This would give it to you. For naught. Charles, I'm surprised at you. No. No, I'm not. I expected it. Will you sell, Mrs. Thursday?
I'll match any offer he can make, Mrs. Thursday.
You haven't got the money.
I can raise it.
George wanted me to take over if anything happened.
George told me at...
Mrs. Thursday, there's a board meeting tomorrow morning. Give me an option on 1/4 of your holdings. I promise you won't lose it. I'll have my lawyer on here in 10 minutes to fix it all up.
Mrs. Thursday, before you do anything rash, I feel...
Mrs. Thursday,
Stop it! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to shout. I don't understand half what you're saying.
It's quite simple.
Not to me it isn't. I don't understand and I don't want to understand. All I know is that Mr. Dunrich was buried today. Today. He was my friend. I suppose he was yours. But all you can do is come here and wave about bits of paper and talk about who's going to take over. I want to go home, please, to my own place.
I don't think Mrs. Thursday's in any mood to discuss the matter further tonight, gentlemen.
We'll postpone the board meeting for 48 hours. You agreed, Joe?
Agreed. We must. Mrs. Thursday, will we have some sort of an answer in 2 days?
I don't know. I'll see.
Night, Mrs. Thursday.
Thursday?
Night. Night, Sir Charles. Don't call us, we'll call you.
I wasn't rude, was I? I wouldn't like them to think I've got no manners.
You were wonderful, Mrs. Thursday. It's a pleasure to serve you.
You were a fat lot of good.
I'll learn.
Bates, when you've dropped me, Mrs. Thursday's, go and get yourself a cup of tea and come back in half an hour. We'll take her to see the estate in Oxfordshire.
What about you and Mrs. Thursday? Could I have a comment, sir? Oh, come along, sir. Any comment at all? Anything at all, sir?
Mrs. Thursday and I are merely good friends. Other than that, I have nothing to say. Constable?
Just one thing more, sir. Before you... Come on, sir.
Thank heaven you've come. They're here.
I know. I directed them to come here.
What for?
Well, I thought it would be more appropriate if you spoke to them on your own territory, so to speak.
Well, I don't know what to say to them.
Well, you know Mr. Dunrich's wishes in this matter. Make such provision for them as you think fit and proper.
You do it.
No, Mrs. Thursday.
Well, come in with me at least.
I wouldn't miss it for all the tea in China.
We've all been admiring your parlour, Mrs. Thursday. You have such lovely photographs.
Yes, aren't they beautiful? Are these your children, Mrs. Thursday?
Yes, but of course they're young here. That's Gordon. He's at sea, Merchant Navy.
Oh.
Then Fred, he's in Australia, married, 2 children. And that's Jenny. She's married too, lives in Sheffield. And that's Pat, the youngest. She's in Canada.
Oh, how sad. So you don't see very much of them then?
No, but they're very good. They write regular. Oh, and I've got some pictures here of my grandchildren. I've got 3. But you don't want to see them.
Oh, we do.
Another time, perhaps? Mrs. Thursday wishes to speak to you.
Yes. Well, I don't know what to say, really. I mean, this was sprung on me, as you might say. I didn't ask for the money. You could have knocked me over with a feather when the gentleman read out the will.
Well, it couldn't have gone to a kinder or more generous woman of that, we're sure.
I want to do what's right. I suppose you're all working.
Working?
Oh, you mean social work? Yes, I've done a little with the WBS.
No, proper work, where you get wages.
I don't understand. To work? I never work.
How do you live then? How do you live without working?
Well, George made us all a very generous allowance.
How much did he give you?
George allowed me $4,000 a year in the car.
3,000 and no car.
Oh, was it 3? I'm terrible at figures.
And the same for Mrs. Margot and the same for Mrs. Nicole.
How much is that each week?
£60.
Each?
Each.
£60 to spend every week?
Every week.
Well, that's more than most families down this street get in a month.
Yes, I know, but our situation is a little different.
Oh, I don't know what to say, I'm sure. Mr. Hunter, could I have a word?
Oh, yes, of course, Mrs. Thursday. Excuse us, ladies.
They don't expect me to pay them £60 a week, do they?
Well, I'm afraid you've no real choice, Mrs. T.
What?
Well, it seems they have certain legal rights and they could take the matter to court.
Why?
To get a maintenance order from the estate. Oh, I don't think they will, of course. They need your goodwill, but on the whole, I think it would be better if you continued the allowance, you know. Mr. Dunrich was really rather fond of them.
He must have been. He must have been out of his mind. £60 a week each. I never heard anything like it. Still, I suppose he's partly to blame.
Well, he did marry them.
I suppose they've got used to having money.
A very easy thing to do.
Oh, well, they're more to be pitied than blamed.
I would have thought so.
And we can afford it.
Out of 10 million, it's a mere drop in the ocean.
All right. I've had a talk with Mr. Hunter, like, and I think the only fair thing in the circs would be for me to keep up what Mr. Dunrich was paying you.
That's extremely generous.
You're a good sport. Oh, que vous êtes gentil. You're wonderful.
There's one condition. You've all got to get a job.
A job?
What?
You mean to work?
I mean to work. There's plenty of jobs going, papers full of adverts. It's for your own good. I mean, you get a job and some experience behind you, you'll be independent.
I won't do it. I'm not going to spend my days shut in a stuffy office. I cannot work.
Suit yourselves. I'll give you a week to think it over. Come to me then, prove you've got a job, and you can have your money. And so long as you hold the job, I'll pay out.
Mrs. Thursday.
No arguments. Think it over, like I said. Good morning.
Now, look
sure,
here,
you
Mrs.
can't.
Thursday,
No
can't.
arguments.
Have you got the car?
I'm afraid I sent it away, ma'am.
And how are we supposed to get back to town, may I ask?
There's a bus stop at the corner if you just walk there and turn left. Plenty of buses, and they're quite comfortable, really. I've been using them for years.
I don't know how you do it.
Neither do I. I've never carried on like this before.
Well, you've never had 10 million before. Oh, by the way, I asked Bates to come back in half an hour. I thought you might like to go down to Oxfordshire to see the country house.
Oh, lovely. Oh, that is kind of you. Yes, I'd enjoy a ride out. Cup of tea while we're waiting?
Cup of tea.
Oh, not in there.
Oh, of course. I quite understand. We'll repair to the kitchen, shall we?
This way.
Penny for them.
Not much company, am I? I was thinking about the money. I shall have to give it up. I could never manage it.
You've managed very well so far.
So far. What do you think, honestly?
I think that Mr. Dunrich knew what he was doing when he asked you to take care of the money.
Take care of it? Is that what he meant?
In a way. As a sort of trust. After all, money's only so much paper and metal. It's not an end in itself. Though a good many people think it is. It's what you do with it that's important.
A sort of trust?
That's it. Exactly.
Oh, well, I'll think about it. If I did decide to keep it, would you help me?
What a question.
I mean, you'd stay on with me.
Like a shot.
As my business advisor.
Business advisor.
That's settled then.
You know, the most remarkable thing is you've never once mentioned getting anything for yourself. Surely there's something you've always wanted and couldn't afford.
Oh, well, I'm very fond of music. Opera, all kinds, really. I'd like a proper gramophone, one of them big ones in a cabinet. I'm saving up for one, actually.
Why not get it today?
They're £80 odd.
Well?
No, I've done without it all these years. I can do without it a bit longer. I'm not going mad just because I come into a bit of money.